All right, we have a question right here.
Cody, this is more of a personal question. I have to get vulnerable to kind of speak about it. I'm an adventure seeker, kind of a little bit of, I want freedom above everything. So super important. I've jumped a lot through things in life. Like I did my engineering degree, figured out, be like, okay, I'll figure that out next thing. So did my pilot's license and then yacht master and then built a company, sold it, and then built a yacht and sailed across the Atlantic Ocean. But it's always jumping from thing to thing to find that next, like what's the next big thing? And then I'm generally good at seeing patterns in things. So someone can tell me on a dream quickly, but then after 6-7 months, I start seeing, okay, there's a lot of red flags. I see the patterns. I don't see my vision to building something big, and I move to the next company. What kind of advice or maybe selection that you can see where I'm making a mistake on that?
What are you unhappy about in the path that you're already on right now? It sounds like you've done some cool stuff. Are you unhappy with how much money that you've made and how big of a company you've built? Or are you unhappy because you don't like what you do every day?
Yeah, I mean, one is definitely, I don't like what I do, but like, so at the moment now, since we immigrated to the United States, I had to join someone. I'm working for him, building his dream. But I feel like, first, one, the vision's not there to build something big enough. It just feels like, okay, we're building something, we're creating cash flow, but what are we really changing?
Okay.
Like, are we really changing people's life? Is there something, a meaningful thing that we're building? And then the number two is the freedom. Like, I hate taking orders. It's a hard one.
A lot there.
Yeah.
Plus the ADHD and all the other stuff that comes with it.
I saw a little bit of that with your question you asked there. So I think a couple things. One, have you already taken his assessment?
I haven't.
Okay.
I wrote.
So
That's part of the problem.
Yeah, I think that, Oracle of Delphi famously said, if I could tell you one secret, it would be know thyself. And so I think first you got to start with, who are you? What do I actually want? What does success and good look like for me? And it goes back to kind of that idea of like, if you don't have a destination, it doesn't matter if you've got the headlights or the GPS, you don't know where you're going. And so taking some time to sort of soul search, what does good look like for me? Because if somebody unrelated to you heard your life story, it's like, yeah, the yachts and the pilots, and then I traveled. It sounds cool, but maybe it wasn't exactly what you wanted. And so why? You're chasing the proverbial Alice's rabbit down a hole, but you don't actually know if you want to end up in Wonderland or not. And so the first thing I'd say is like, know thyself, do a deep dive. The second thing that I think is really helpful for that is maybe take the thing that you found out and go run it by some trusted people who are going to tell you the things you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Can you take the real feedback on you? And that one is always painful. It's painful for me too, but hear it. And then the third thing is, once you know yourself and what you want, a little tough, but I would stop asking yourself, what do you want? And I would start asking yourself, what are you willing to do to get it? And if you start with sacrifices as opposed to goals, then you will be more realistic about what it takes. And that would be my 30 seconds, I don't know you very well, but gut reaction to your question. And thanks for sharing it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We're going to stay here. The coach in me is flaring right now. I think you have some conflict, is my guess. And the conflict is, one of the conflicts, there's two voices I think that you're having a wrestling match. And I call it the head and the heart. So there's the head voice and the heart voice. Is that resonating
100%.
with you? And here's what I would say on that. You got to get them aligned. And the starter in you, I think, is the heart voice. Your heart longs for something, and your head voice keeps talking you out of it. And I see a head shake over here, and I know from meeting you earlier, you guys are together, and she's a therapist. So there's a lot here, and I'm trying to be succinct here.
Yeah.
I think that you've got to start listening to your heart. But the alignment of, if I use what I do best, there's just some natural talent you have that ought to tell you where you ought to be in the world of work. It's just that simple. If you suck at it, you shouldn't be doing it. This idea, Cody, that drives me crazy on social media, you can do anything you want if you try. No, you can't. Because I know this, because I played sports as a kid.
Pickleball.
Well, that I'm pretty decent at. But basketball is my favorite sport. You've seen me. I'm 5'8", all right? And I can barely jump over this piece of paper if I put it on the floor. Guess what? If I practice forever to dunk the ball, I will never be able to dunk the ball. Why? I don't have the physical talent to jump. I think you've got to get really clear. This is what I'm good at. And so that will allow us to then move into the heart. And the heart longs to do this. Well, can I do it, Cody?
Yeah.
And if I can do this thing that I long to do, now we've got evidence.
Yeah.
And what's going to stop happening is these distractions and the head voices come in. And now he's looking at, see, we got something. And the head voice is going, oh, this isn't what I thought it was going to be because this ghost. And something's going on. And I really, really recommend your therapist wife get you with another therapist, as I think you're chasing a ghost. And I think every time you jump from these things, there's a ghost that tells you got to jump because the thing that you've locked into is not good enough. It's not worthy enough. Cody's right. Knowing thyself is huge, Cody. It's clarity.
Yeah.
Clarity gives us confidence
Yep.
to stay the course. Because you talked about self-doubt earlier. At some point, though, you had some real clarity. Remember, you talked about that second time? You go, that second time my dad said I finally had the cojones.
Yeah.
At some point, you got enough clarity that you were confident enough to go all the way. Is that true?
Yeah, it's very true. But I think we have to give ourselves a little credit, and you do too, that like humans are mimetic desire machines.
Yes.
Like everything we want, we only know how to want it because of comparison. It's actually fascinating. We're one of the only animals that's like that. And so one of my favorite bosses said, nothing is good or bad except by comparison, which is true. And so I think you should give yourself some credit that like we have to take back our programming, that you're exactly as successful as you programmed yourself to be, that programming is because we're in a petri dish of other people's things, which leach into what we are. And so at some point you have to take a step back and go, God, I'm confused. And that's okay.
Yes.
Because I saw Tom, Dick, and Larry had this thing, and I'm not exactly sure if I want it because they have it or if I want it because I want it.